Hey, Erin.
Hey, Lexi, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are
Great.
you?
I'm
Yeah.
fantastic.
How many wines deep are you?
No, just one, just one. Yeah, we're on
Okay.
vacation and
I
it's 7
know.
o'clock in the evening,
I
so
know.
it's
It's late for you. It's
wine
still
o'clock.
early. It's
Yeah,
wine o'clock. It's wine o'clock somewhere, I could
always.
technically be like, hey, it's 7 p.m. in Spain. I'm gonna just start drinking
You
wine.
might as well
Might as well. It's Monday.
just throw a little orange juice in that puppy and you'll be
Yeah.
ready.
Mimosa, baby. It's brunch. Mimosa it up. Welcome everyone to our podcast. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Lexi Sheridan Coons.
And I'm Erin Burnell.
Yay. And together we have this amazing podcast show called The Foreignish. We talk about experiences being foreigners living abroad. As we said in other episodes, I was in Spain for 18 years. Erin, you're still out there.
Still here.
Living the Spanish life. And we're just excited to share stories and also have guests on. Today we had an amazing guest. If you want to talk a little bit about Pablo, because he's kind of your homie.
Yeah, Pablo's awesome. I met him like 12 years ago. We worked together. We are speaking examiners. So we see each other a few times a year for that. And yeah, go out for some beers afterwards. He's a great guy from Canada. He was born, he's a Gen Xer like me. Are we Gen Xers or Gen X? Whatever you call it.
Yeah, I guess you are.
We're
right?
definitely Gen X, but I don't know if do we call ourselves Gen Xers?
I think
Does that
so.
exist?
I think so. Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So I mean, yeah, he's
So yeah, it was interesting to talk to Pablo. He also, you guys kind of ended up in the Basque Country at the same time, but you didn't know each other then. You met years and years later, but it was cool to, in this episode, he gets to talk about his experience moving abroad, what it was like being in Bilbao, the culture, also the politics at the time, and you kind of experienced some of those similarities in the late 90s. So
yeah,
I
really
found that
cool
pretty
guy. It
fascinating.
was really nice to have
Yeah.
him on.
So funny too, he's got his little funny spiels here and there.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that he was a chef, that backstory is pretty cool. So great speaker today and really interesting. And let's get to listening to his story.
Yeah, you'll get some great insights into what the Basque Country was like back in the day.
Back in the dizzy. Alrighty. Well, here we go. Woo! Yay! Hello.
Pablo!
Finally.
Hi, Pablo.
Finally,
How are
we got
things?
you in.
How are things?
Things are good. How are things with
are
you?
great. Things are busy with me.
Yeah. Busy
Yep.
is good.
Pablo's
Busy
super
is
busy.
it can be good.
He's
Yeah.
just working his butt off all the time.
Yeah.
It'll become easier. I think it's a new position, so the longer I'm there,
Okay.
the easier it'll get. So
Yeah.
What are you doing now? What's your job
I'm
now?
still teaching, but now I have a class to myself. So I have a third grade class, which I've just taken over.
Third grade.
He
Ooh,
teaches
Yeah.
third grade.
spicy.
With first graders as well, another class of first graders as well. So
Oh,
English and science.
nice.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Mhm.
Where are you right now, Pablo? It looks like you have a whiteboard behind you.
I do have a whiteboard. Yeah, I'm in my office at home. I have an office where I used to private teach or consult
Very
or
nice.
just work. So it's
Fully
now being
equipped.
used for our Christmas wrapping stations and things like this.
That's awesome.
And
I just wanna-
podcasting. And podcasting.
And podcasting.
Just want to say I'm super excited to have Pablo here with us today. If we were
Yay.
all like famous and doing like a famous podcast, he would be
Yeah.
like the equivalent of like having Martin Scorsese or something on your podcast.
Oh,
So
really?
Pablo,
The
Because
highest
I'm
of
old.
compliments.
because I'm old. Incredible.
because you're amazing. Amazing.
Well,
See, you met Pablo.
You did
You know
I
each
did.
other.
at a hot tub party.
No
Spain.
way. I
Yes.
was not there. That was not me. Was it at that?
It was not this version of you, anyways. No, but
Oh, the professional version?
yeah.
I'm rarely professional. So was it at the
You had
barbecue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the barbecue. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I forget what was the name of the guy that had the
The host.
barbecue, the
Nick.
boss
Nick.
man.
He's
I think-
the Martin Scorsese.
He's the no, he's whoever's above Martin Scorsese. You know,
Yeah.
nobody knows
Martin
about him. but
Scorsese's
he's
manager.
hidden. Yeah. Yeah, we were
Yes.
talking about that the other day, that they should I was telling him they should watch The Sopranos because Nick was like kind of saying he wasn't the boss anymore, because his daughter took over. I was like, Nick, you'll always be the boss.
Yeah.
We started talking about The Sopranos, and they were like, we've never seen it before.
He's not a big television guy. He reads books galore.
Books
He's not,
galore.
but
I like that.
yeah.
Well, Pablo,
Yeah.
I'll just explain really quick what we're
Okay.
gonna do.
Let's
And
do it.
so our podcast is basically about having foreigners come on, tell their stories about living abroad or their experience living in a different country.
Mhm.
We'd love to hear a background on you first, a little
Okay.
bit about how you ended up where you are, anything you want to share about your background, family, life over there, how long you've been there, et cetera, et cetera. And
Okay.
then we can get to a story of your choice. I know Aaron and I have shared a couple of stories, things like language faux pas or like weird cultural differences or our love for the food, things like
Yeah.
that. So any story you want to share. So let's start there about you.
All right. So I'm born and raised in northwestern Canada, a small town, 80,000 inhabitants, called Prince George. It's a hockey town, a bit rough. And I study chefing there. And I kind of work the industry a little bit, like a year and a
Yeah,
bit.
he's an amazing chef. And I think that's why you don't remember him, Lexi. He was on the grill the whole time, like
Oh,
making
really?
food for us. So
That's
he
I
yeah,
wasn't
definitely
that could
remember
be a
eating a
reason.
lot there. Yeah. And
Yeah.
drinking a lot.
So yeah, I'm chefing, and Jose Andres, the chef, a Spanish chef, starts to make it big in the eastern part of the United States. So he makes a name, starts to make a name. This is 1993, more or less, 94.
Mhm.
Make a name for Spanish cuisine, and it starts to get popular in the United States and therefore in Canada. So I have an opportunity to study in Bilbao, Basque and Spanish
Wow.
cuisine, and I decide to take that venture and
Yeah.
and
Hell
go with
yeah.
it. So
And back in
so
the
I was
90s, remember we were talking, we had a little show about Bilbao in the 90s, and it was like more like America in the 70s, like
20
Well,
years behind.
I mean, I remember, so my flight over, so I have family in Baracaldo. So they were kind of going to initially kind of host me for the month of June because I was starting in September. This was in Bilbao, Plaza Zabalburu area, which before was plagued by Nigerian mafia and brothels and stuff like this. So, this is like 1990s. So this was like 1997. And I fly over, of course, similar to a lot of Canadians. We know Spain. Some friends that I know put Spain next to like between Argentina and Brazil. And the idea of the Basque culture or Catalan culture or Asturian culture and all of these autonomies that exist now, or before I was very ignorant to the whole thing. So I remember taking a flight from Vancouver to London, London to Bilbao, and on the flight from London to Bilbao, 1997, July 14th, they give you newspapers. Flight attendants in the back are having their cigarettes and their smokes, and you're trying to get a glass of water or something, and they're like, "Just give me a minute."
Like,
And
like
I'm
busy.
reading they found at this time Miguel Ángel Blanco, which was a socialist politician that was killed, and they had found him in this area, and because it was the end of kind of the ETA era, so but I had no idea where I was going, so I was like, well, where am I going? Am I sure I want to do this? Yeah. So I land in Bilbao, and in September I started this cooking thing. It's a 3-year program, but because I was chefing before, I challenged the first year, and they said, yeah, you don't need to do the first year, and I could do the second year in the mornings and the third year in the evenings. So I got rid of that in 1 year. And from there, Bilbao is a very lonely place if you don't have this quadrilla.
We talked about the quadrilla.
Yeah. So I'm very Canadian, and without the aboot and everything else, but I'm very like the moose that are from these cartoons, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, you don't have a really thick Canadian accent when you talk.
No.
Like I heard a little bit, but you don't have the stuff that we make fun of in the States about
If
the
I was drinking the
But you
Canadians.
grape
do
juice,
have a
yeah,
bit of an accent, and
A
I
little
don't know if
bit, a
it's
little bit.
from where you are in Vancouver. Vancouver, okay, I'm going to sound super American. It's on the west side of Canada,
it is
right?
West Side,
Toronto
yeah.
on the
So
east. Okay.
yeah,
But your name is Pablo.
yeah.
So you have
So
some Spanish blood?
I have Spanish blood. Mother is Mexican from Mexico City,
Mhm.
and father is Spanish from Reynosa area in Cantabria.
Okay, I was going to say there's an air of Baracaldo in you, huh?
Yeah, it could be. That could be the 20 odd years that I've been here. So and so there, the cooking culture was kind of the initial part here that I came for. But it was a very lonely place for me, Bilbao. And I was, with my classmates, I was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing this weekend?" And they're like, "Hey, we're going out with our friends, and you're not one of them, loser." And I was like, "Oh,
It's so
can I come along?"
true.
And they're like,
The
"Can I come
curse of the
along?" And they're
Geedy. The
like,
curse of the Geedy.
yeah, I think after many years, there's watering holes where a lot of these foreigners hang out. So you can, but I was kind of new. I was 22 at the time, so I was just kind of drinking my little Canya beers for I think it was 150 pesetas or something, because we
Yeah,
had
and you're
the
used
pesetas.
to yeah, the
Yeah,
Cerrito, yeah. You're used to in the States, and I'm sure in Canada too, people invite you, when you're young and you meet new people, we're always like the
yeah,
more the merrier, right? Like, come
yeah,
on, come
yeah.
party with us, whatever.
Or you meet somebody and they're like, "Hey, I'm having a barbecue tonight. Come on over."
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was very lonely, and then suddenly, because this was about the time when internet was starting. We still had the kind of the
Yeah, the dial-up.
sounding, yeah, which you can get.
Yeah.
You had to go to the library.
The hours I spent on AOL Instant Messenger probably talking to creepy people when I was 13.
Yeah, yeah.
Was
Well, there's
freaking
other platforms now that you can get groomed. So,
Yeah, yeah.
to talk to creeps.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Roblox is supposed to be one of them, but that's for another podcast. But
Okay.
like scraps these programming ones. But yeah, so it's a lonely place, and I remember I called my parents with remember these phone boxes at the end of bars that were green.
Mhm.
I used to
Oh yeah.
change 1,000 pesetas, and like used to see the money go down, and you're like, shit,
Yeah.
like hurry up, and so I called my parents, and they said we've received a letter from a friend called Bob from a high school. So he was more of an acquaintance at the time, and I said, this letter, what does it say? So you have my parents with Hispanic accent reading this letter saying,
From
"I
Bob.
don't have a phone," from Bob. "I don't have a phone, but you can call this number to reach my neighbor who will go and get me because we're usually at home."
Mysterious
And I was
Bob.
like,
I
I was
love it.
pretty desperate. So I said, okay. And I called Bob, and I remember the lady picking up. So I speak Spanish because of my parents.
Mhm.
And my upbringing. And so I talked to this lady, and she's like, "Oh, friends of Bob's," and you could hear kind of her high heels along a hard wood floor going to the neighbor kind of thing. I could see the money going down in my till, and I was like, "Shit, come on!" So finally, it's Bob that answers, and he says, "Yeah, I'm at a university student flat, so I have like two roommates that are or flatmates that are not from here. They leave every weekend, so I can ask and see if you can start coming to Mondragon." And I was like, "I have no idea where Mondragon is," so I had to go back to the library, get a big atlas, and you see that it's only 68 kilometers away from
Yeah, it was
Bilbao,
hard
so it's
back
fairly
then to
close.
find out where places were. Like, I was doing
Yeah.
my study abroad in 97, 98. I don't know how did we figure out where things were
It was a
Yeah,
less
well,
stressful
together?
time for
yeah.
sure. You just didn't
So
care. It worked or it didn't work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you'd say, "I'm going to meet you here at this time," and that's exactly
Yeah.
what happened. So I
And you
I
showed
said
up.
to Bob, "I'll be showing up on Friday on the 7 o'clock bus," and they met me at the station, and then I came back. That way, I would go back and forth
And
from
who was it
Bilbao
that
to
met you at
Mondragon.
the station, Pablo?
Well, Bob, his girlfriend, who I had met 5 years prior, she had gone to Canada for an exchange. So I had met this
Interesting.
this girl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Wait, so just to clarify really quick, Pablo, so your parents put you in touch with Bob that was in the same region as you so that you had some connections. Is that kind
right,
of
You
okay?
guys
Bob
went to
had
high school
written.
together, right, Pablo?
Well, we knew we
Kind of
were high
acquaint
school friends. Yeah, we
Yeah,
were high school
in
friends
Canada.
in Canada, and he was more of an acquaintance because I had met him like 5 years when we were in grade 11 or something like this. Because he was interested in this girl that he was then dating, this lady.
And so you had met her then as well.
I had met this girl then as well. So yeah, so they started meeting me, and they had their quadrilla established. And so that was my social in. So basically I kind of knuckled down from Monday to Friday, get through this double course that I was doing, and started to go to Mondragon for my social life.
Party in Mondragon.
And at the same time, I had a 3-bedroom apartment in the back part of the Plaza Zabalburu, which was Canadian or even American. The mentality of gypsies back then is like mystified. So I remember going to check this flat out, and I had a group of gypsies singing like in the stairwell.
Somebody
with a caja.
That's so awesome.
And I was like,
did they try to give you like
great.
the herbs and stuff and like read your fortune? And
no, they were just singing with a couple of guitars, classic guitars, and with the cajon,
cool.
this box. And because you grow up on the Gypsy Kings, who are actually French.
Yeah, the Gypsy Kings. They're awesome.
You're like, oh, this is awesome. I'm gonna have music all the time. And then once you're here, you kind of see that it's not that way with gypsy neighbors.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, or it's
They're
just
probably
different.
squatting in the building somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So Pablo, was this Calle San Francisco that you were on, or near it, or?
Well, San Francisco, there's nowadays when you come into Bilbao, there's kind of the motorway goes in or the highway goes in. Yes, Calle San Francisco on the right side, and I was on the left side. In that kind of neighborhood there on the left side.
I think it's kind of gentrified now. Like I think from what it was back in the 90s.
Calle San Francisco for sure.
Yeah.
Put in some trendy bars around there.
There are trendy bars, but you still kind of go there and you're kind of like, no, these
especially
corners and stuff.
You have those like memories from back in the 90s, probably.
Yeah.
Traumas.
So this was it was good, but I remember the language faux pas that you were saying about. So when we want to go out, so I wanted to pay back Bob and Lady for many weekends that I had spent in Mondragon. And I invited them back to Bilbao one weekend. I said, when you guys come, I have a 3-bedroom place and we can go out and party. I said, I live around, there's tons of clubs because it says clubs everywhere. For me, of course, clubs are discotheques, nightclubs.
Oh gosh, I know where this is going.
Yeah. So they come with me, and I'm with Lady, and Bob and myself. We are trying to get into these clubs, and the doormen are not letting us enter. And I thought, at first, I speak Spanish, and I was like, oh, why not? We're willing to pay. And they're like, because of the girl. And I thought, well, it's a gay bar. It must be a gay bar. And so, and we kind of went to 2 or 3 of these because there's like a good set of them around there. It's by the bull ring, or the old bull ring as well. It was kind of that area behind there. And so this was my first where I realized that clubs are not actually nightclubs. They didn't let us go in at the end. So they're brothels. Yeah,
we did talk last time about puticlubs and just the word in general, how it's hilarious. But I know exactly the area you're talking about. I don't think it's changed too much. Like there's still some of those same clubs around there. And
are they really? I haven't been so long, but not to the putti clubs. I mean, I haven't been in that area.
I haven't been to a brothel in forever.
Like, hey guys,
I haven't been. They've never let me in. I'm very curious.
I know.
I wonder why they wouldn't let you in if you were like, we have money.
Because we were with the girl.
Yeah.
Because we were with Lady. Apparently.
But women can go in.
I know women that have gone in here in Victoria, for example, but they're curious and they want to pay 12 euros a drink or something. Why
maybe
not?
Nowadays they're more relaxed about it, but maybe back in the 90s they were kind of like, because remember, the back in the 90s in Bilbao was like the 70s, and they probably weren't. I don't know. Maybe they just had guys in there.
It was incredible. It was like me traveling to Mexico or something in a sense. I remember
the border of Tijuana.
The first time I went to open a bank account, and so everybody's smoking in the bank.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And you reach the clerk, and there's a bunch of burn marks on the counter on his side, as well as on the customer's side. and you realize that that's where they're placing their cigarettes. So their complete disregard to the furniture is like, I don't give a shit. This is like, I'm fucking smoking this cigarette.
Yeah. It's funny, the smoking culture, when I moved there, let me just think for a second. When I moved there permanently, 2007 or 8, still allowed to smoke in the bars. And I remember working in an Irish pub for, it must have taken like 10 years off my life, but there were old men in there smoking cigars. People were smoking cigarettes. I think it was banned somewhere around that time, but that's so late because the US banned that, what, in the 90s?
I think so, but in Canada, I remember it was banned in my hometown. So, but it was like, minus 20 degrees, and they had this smoking section.
Right.
Adjacent
it was still
to
like
the building.
Inside next to a window.
Yeah, because if not, it's like you die of cold, of being frozen to death.
Well, it was the same idea because I was in Guernica, of all places, and you get out into the pueblos. I'm sure they're still smoking in the bars, actually.
Probably.
I hear they are, after hour, like later times, like if it's a neighborhood bar, and they close the bar and stuff. I've been to a couple of bars where they've smoked here, so
yeah, I'm sure they do that, and they did that in Miami too. I mean, I remember being there if smoking was banned, but like when the bar closed and stuff, people would stay around and
it's still happening in New York for sure.
I don't appreciate it as much as I used to, kind of thing. Like now you
smoking?
Well, like I have one cheeky fag every once in a while. But, But now you use the clothes and everything. Like I remember the time that I was stuck in a closed bar with this, and then suddenly you leave, and the next day you're like, oh Jesus, just everything else.
You
don't shower. Yeah.
Well, that's old age. We're a bunch of old fogies. When we were young, we loved it.
Well, yeah. Gosh, I remember, and this is why I think it took years off my life. I remember in that period, I had a really terrible cough, really, really terrible cough for like 4 months that I couldn't get rid of. So
maybe you started COVID.
Yeah.
Lexi was ground zero for COVID.
Patient zero. Yeah.
Started with me.
Oh, sorry, patient zero.
Patient zero.
Like ground zero.
Well, anyway, tell us more. The story evolves.
Okay, so I started going to Mondragon at the weekends. One weekend I couldn't go. They sent an ambassador, somebody from the Cuadrilla, which is my current wife.
Nice.
So that's how I met Oyana. And she came and she took me around until we met up with the Cuadrilla later that night. And we kind of hit it off. So that was about 25 years ago, 26 or something.
Okay.
After I finished the studies, I got a job in Mondragon, and I moved to Mondragon. But my visa ran out, so I ended up going back to Canada. I started playing the 6 months there, 6 months here kind of thing for a couple of years. Well,
were you chefing it up during that time?
I was chefing, and then I got invited to do the corporate management program through the Hyatt in Denver. So that took me out a year as well. And I had already started with Oyana at that time. Like we started a relationship. So that was my long distance relationship.
So at first, did you guys think maybe she would move to Canada since you were doing that? Oh no, you were in Denver.
That was kind of
States or something.
The deal when I how do we say this? Proposed. I said, I want to live in Canada because I want to open a restaurant because Spanish and Basque cuisine, they're going to make me rich. And she's like, yeah, I promise. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. And here we are. So we never made it happen at the beginning.
Did you open the restaurant though? Did you do the Canadian thing? You did the corporate management.
We did it 13 years later. Suddenly she said, okay, let's go to Canada. And so we went to Canada, and it was I had missed my prime working years. I ended up working with, I got a Hard Rock casino job chefing pretty quickly as well. And so.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the matriarchy here. It just sort of, enchants
she makes the decisions.
Moving here to the Basque Country.
You would think that, but it's not necessarily, because I have daughters as well. And I always say I'm like the lackey of the four. And they're like, yeah, whatever, you're kind of the boss. And I'm like, I'm not the boss. So there is kind of...
They want you to, Pablo, they want you to believe that, but they control you.
Yes, they do. Yeah. and I
Reverse
accept it.
psychology.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, they want you to feel like you are.
So
Yeah, but you
no,
are.
I never opened a restaurant. Ended up studying education instead
Mhm. Mhm.
through a Spanish university here, and then I got my degree in teaching, and now I'm a teacher. I was
Yeah.
kind of doing the private sector, and now I'm in a school.
Yeah. Amazing. So you
Yeah,
found another passion, which is in education and teaching.
and
Tell us
teaching.
what
Right?
you like about teaching. Because we're obviously both teachers as well.
Yeah, teaching. Even when I was chefing, I was able to teach cooking. And so there's a moment where I was doing in the
Cool.
civic centers these adult lessons for teaching like simple cooking recipes and
Yeah, I could
simple
use some of those. I
knife
could definitely
techniques,
use.
and so that was fun. And I've always liked teaching those that want to be taught, and then those that don't want to be taught you kind of found as more of a challenge. So there was kind of that aspect of things as well, and it was one of those professions similar to cooking where you kind of always have something to do. You can always improve or grow in one way or another, especially nowadays in education you have more and more challenged kids, so
Yeah,
there's always kind of
absolutely. That's cool if
more
you can
more
combine
challenges.
your chef
Mm.
experience with
Mhm.
teaching. That's really
I
nice.
miss chefing actually. I miss the adrenaline. I miss
Yeah.
the putting things together and the
Yeah, I say
food.
that too a lot about like waiting tables and bartending. I know that I'm forgetting a lot of like the stress and oh my God, I'm in the weeds or whatever, but I
Hmm.
have such fond memories of working in restaurants.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah,
like I
yeah,
met some of my best friends. You had some of the best times, the best laughs, the adrenaline, like you said, like
Well,
when all
also
the
you're
those people are there.
young and
Yeah.
you partied really hard around
yeah,
that time. So
And we
of
had
course
so
it
much
was
fun
fun.
together.
You were never hungover. You could show up to work, you got a bunch of tips, you spent it on
yeah,
Yeah.
bullshit, and then you
yeah.
were, yeah,
But the
living the
atmosphere was just so there was just so much energy and excitement and fun. I don't know how to explain it,
yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's fun.
My current place, this on Friday was their Christmas dinner, and I counted there was 6 males and 25 females. I'm the oldest by about 4 years, and there's only about three of us in our 40s to 50s. The rest are all like 30 and younger,
Yeah.
or 26,
Makes sense.
28. Their energy levels are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
And then they
excited.
just, yeah, yeah, yeah. They just throw you in the middle to dance, and you're like, but,
Oh my
Is
it's
that
just,
what you were
yeah,
doing
God.
on Friday?
That's what he said
yeah,
on
that's what I was
Friday.
Breaking
doing
it down on the dance floor.
until 5 a.m. Yeah. And then you realize it's 5 and you're like, oh shit, I'll be up
Yeah.
in 2 hours or something.
You got
Because
to
I'm
keep up with
old.
the 28-year-olds.
Yeah, yeah. Good luck. No, there's no way. So
So
they
Pablo, are
just
you
sleep.
in the Bilbao area or are you in Vitoria?
I'm in Victoria now. So
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Sounds good. I love that. That's super interesting, your background, where you came from, how you ended up so
Yeah.
specifically in Bilbao. Aaron and I have talked about our journeys arriving in Bilbao, how we were living in Las Arenas at the time, going to
Mhm.
Ube
Mhm.
Ube. Like nobody knew where the hell we were going, anything about the Basque Country,
Yeah.
none of that, the whole terrorist group, everything that was going on,
Yeah.
we had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that you mentioned that because it's worth noting,
It's not only
part of
that,
it.
it's every trip before I had children, we used to go back every year to Canada. Now it's
Mhm.
every two. Every time I go back, I realize how quickly the Basque Country has progressed or
Mm,
grown,
changed.
and how kind of slowly or it has not changed back home. Like it
Or
seems like every
regressed.
visit, yeah, it
They've
hasn't
gone
regressed.
backwards.
Maybe some things have, but every time I go back, I'm like, oh, that's still there. They haven't kind of improved it, or so time goes forward and it seems to be stuck. There are some new buildings, but then some other things you're kind of like, it doesn't seem to have progressed the same speed as here, because here you had dictatorship until the
Yeah.
late 70s. So you weren't, that's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. So
Love that though.
how
Like
well
just
they've
giving
done
that.
anyways.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, remember Bilbao back in the 90s? Like, it is incredible how much it's changed. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like I was here 97. I can't remember. I think you came around the same time, Pablo, because I remember my
Yeah.
mom calling me saying, "Okay, apparently there's this terrorist
Terrorism.
Yeah,
group
Miguel
who
Angel.
had just killed
Yeah,
that guy." It was like on the news.
yeah,
I forgot his
yeah.
name. So I
Miguel
feel like
Angel.
we kind of were there around the same time. But it was the year that the Guggenheim was built, but it was still
Uh-huh.
kind of like industrial and like dark and gray, but it had
Yeah,
this like character to it. I loved it at that time. Like
yeah,
I loved it. But it's changed so much. If you go to Bilbao now, it's just
yeah.
Yeah.
Gentrified completely, no?
completely, and
Well,
there's
when
a
I
lot
went there,
more.
I feel like I'll never forget my very first memory of arriving to Bilbao because when we were studying abroad, we went to Madrid first. We did
Yeah,
this tourist crap, and then they drove us in to the Basque Country into Bilbao. Again, like the typical Mordor thing. It
yeah.
was
Yeah, yeah.
pouring rain. It was a dark January day, and the first buildings you see are these like really run down kind of like ghetto buildings that are by the highway. And I remember my first
Mm,
thought, I was like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? Like,
mhm,
I'm
I was
from
like,
the
"I love
suburbs
this place."
of the Bay Area. Like, I need my
yeah,
mom. Like, what's going on? It was
yeah.
kind of a shitty day too, but
Mhm.
yeah, since then, it's the weather's changed drastically. There's like a
Everywhere,
little bit more going on there. So yeah,
because you say you're
can
from the Bay
understand the
Area,
dark.
like, like not Stockton or the other side.
So San Francisco Bay Area, I'm from
Yeah,
the
okay,
East Bay, so close to Oakland, like across,
okay.
yeah, on the east
Because
side.
yeah, because even crossing the bridge or whatever, I know I have friends that live there as well, and they're like, that's kind of a scary place now as well, no? Isn't it? Stockton
Everywhere is scary
or
in the
Oakville.
US.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Any major city
yeah,
is scary. Don't walk
yeah.
around downtown alone. No, when I was growing up there, it was pretty chill. I mean, when I was in high school, good memories of going into like Berkeley, which was such a
Mm,
hippie
Berkeley.
town. You
Yeah,
could go and get
Berkeley's
like
nice.
your ears pierced when you were 16 or whatever.
mm,
Everyone was smoking weed in the parks and stuff. It was such a
mm,
hippie place. But
mm,
I grew up in a suburb called Walnut Creek, and
mm.
again, like when I grew up, no internet, there was no tech
Yeah,
company. Now it's when I got into high school was when it completely changed, and now it's super bougie, expensive area. Lots of like
mm,
major tech companies have their headquarters around there, and
yeah.
it's changed a lot. But San Francisco downtown is also very, very different. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I haven't been in San Francisco for 25, 30 years maybe or something. So
Yeah.
I imagine that's changed a bit.
Yeah, it has. It definitely has.
Yeah, and I'm from Sioux City, Iowa, so anything is a step up for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey, it's up and coming
Bilbao
now.
was
Sioux
like a
City.
paradise when I got there. Like,
You'd
soon
be
as I
yeah,
gotta call my mom.
surprised. I feel
Sorry?
like everywhere on the map that used to be kind of like desolate, sort of like cowboy town has become up and coming. If you look at
yeah. Mm.
Montana, Missoula, or Bozeman, these are like big trendy places to live now.
That's Yellowstone that did that.
Yeah,
Everybody,
Yellowstone. It was a TV
And
show,
also
right?
just tech companies moving their headquarters to different places like
mm,
Austin, Texas, Denver. Now they're just big tech hubs. And so they become super gentrified.
mhm,
And the culture changes and people kind of spread out to the towns. So I feel like maybe in like 100 years, the
yeah,
US will just be one big tech bubble. Hopefully not. God, that would be awful.
yeah.
Robots, flying robots.
Robots.
Oh my god. So, you mentioned something about, like, the putti clubs, that was fun,
Yeah,
funny stuff. Do you have any other, like, interesting insights into the culture? Any other funny stories that's happened to you since you've been here?
I think it was always less funny for me because I always spoke Spanish.
Oh, that's true.
Uh,
Yeah, that's true.
so it was always never, I remember taking my sister though when she comes to visit, and I take her to the butcher's, and she sees like the half open sheep skull with the brain inside,
Oh, God.
and she's
So
like,
disgusting.
"Oh my God, what is it?" And she's like, and starts like,
Or the cow balls. They eat the
or cow
balls,
balls,
you know?
or even brain. Having tasted brain, that was kind
Yeah.
of a shock for me.
Or the pig feet. Pig feet.
Yeah, pig trotters, but those are popular in British cuisine kind of thing,
Oh,
or
Are they?
Chinese. We have tons of Chinese influence in Vancouver as
Mhm.
well. So, the chicken feet, the pig trotters, all of these kind of
interesting.
weird things, shark fin soup. these are kind of things that I had experienced before.
Well, that's good. But I feel like that's like I do feel like in Spain, and I can't speak to Chinese culture, but they do take advantage of eating every part of the animal, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, you think about like morcilla and like chorizo and, you know, all the different pig cheek and cow tongue. It's like, okay, let's eat everything. Don't go to waste.
Yeah. And it's all great, no? Not for vegetarians,
I'm like,
but nah.
I love
I'll
morcilla
pass.
though. I have to say it's one of my favorite
Me
things
too.
is morcilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it
But
too.
this, you know, they even keep the blood. That's kind of a sample of that. But even the morcilla, for example, changes from one autonomous region to the next.
Mhm.
You know, the Burgos, León, Guipúzcoa, they add
Right,
more
it has
onion to it,
different ingredients, right? Like it's either rice or leek.
with
Is it
vegetables.
leek?
Leek,
Yeah.
usually leek and onion. I love.
Yum.
I prefer those ones as well. Because where are you now? You're in North Carolina?
I'm in. That would be awesome. I'd be way closer to you guys.
Wait, not in North Carolina.
North Carolina. No, I'm in Bend, Oregon. Yeah, I'm on the West Coast. So
Oregon is good. No.
yeah, Oregon is awesome. Erin came to visit me at the beginning of September, so she can give you her 2 cents on Bend.
That's awesome. I love Bend. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very
like being
it's a
in
mountain town.
It's like being in a UB series or something.
No.
Gilmore Girls,
the Hallmark Christmas movies or something.
These are all
One Tree Hill.
filmed in Canada, and then they're
filmed in Canada. But yeah,
just you think of like Twilight, you know, all the scenery and well, that's Washington, you know, but it is really close to a big mountain resort. Winter, there's lots of skiing. Summer, there's lots of downhill biking and hiking and all that good stuff. We've got lots of lakes, rivers. So anyone who lives here is like an outdoor enthusiast. It's kind of like it has to be on your resume basically to live here.
Yeah.
But it's a cool place.
These were things that I missed back home or things that I missed here.
Yeah.
For example, motorcycling. I motorcycle. Back home, it takes you about, I'm going to say 45 minutes to an hour to leave Vancouver, from kind of where my parents are, to get to any sort of mountainous, curious area where you can kind of feel free or something. Whereas here you have it in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of a one up here. Everything was kind of denser and closer. So food wise, I miss the variety that North America has to offer.
Yeah, I'm sure like Vancouver must have such a great food scene.
Well, they do a lot of fusion cooking with Asian food. That was a shock for me as well.
Oh yeah, what else, Pablo?
When I arrived in the late 90s and everything else, just the drug culture. The openness to smoking joints.
Hash.
Hash especially. And then on some occasions in some nightclubs, like seeing powders on the tables kind of thing. And
it was like, what do you call it? Like the Wild West back then in the 90s. Like everything, you know, there were no laws. It was just everybody just did whatever they wanted.
You're waiting 15 minutes outside a bathroom stall and 2 people come out, and
that's
like,
still
Jesus,
happening
guys, like, what
pretty much everywhere. About the one thing that astonished me about the Basque Country was, yes, everyone was smoking hash. That was like a really big thing. And just like the hash persona, if you could think of a very typical Basque person who smoked hash, they were like identified with like the same outfit and the same lifestyle and it was a very Basque thing. Yeah.
Yeah. The fanny pack and the Astore tracksuit and
Euskaleria as a, like a
or like
so
that they were the ones that originated the mullet for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
The super mullet here. But I think we touched on that a little bit, Pablo, in one of our other episodes, how what you were saying, like in the banks, you know, everybody was smoking in the supermarkets. Like when people finished shopping, they'd like light up in the checkout section. Like, you know what I mean?
In schools.
Yeah. I had professors and teachers that smoked. And also there were like there was beer in vending machines back then too. You could just walk up to a vending machine and get a beer. It didn't matter if you were like 12, you know, you could just
let's do it.
It was just crazy back then. Yeah.
Well, even the little corner shops with that sell like the estancos, the tobacco shops or magazine places, they used to sell individual cigarettes for like 15 pesetas. So you could go in and you're like, if you're like 16 or something and you look like you were a little bit older, you'd be like, give me a cigarette.
Oh
And
my
maybe
God,
you're
yeah,
like
you think they
14 or
care?
something.
Yeah, even if they look like they're 12, they do care.
They-
They give you a cigarette.
yeah.
I mean, you could go buy a 6-pack at the supermarket back then and nobody was going to ask you anything.
I think it was the European Union that they lost that identity here
Yeah.
with the European Union.
Yeah.
Because everything was kind of forced in there, the German kind of bylaws and the strictness of everything. And
I think you're
so
right.
I think that's when I started to notice a big change here was with the European Union and the euro.
Yeah, and then when they switched to the
So-
euro and all that stuff, yeah, for sure, for sure. The
Yeah.
peseta was our friend back then.
Well, listen, guys, I know we could talk forever. I'm going to wrap this up a little bit.
Okay.
I loved hearing your stories. We would love to have you back if you ever want to come back and tell us
Sure.
another concrete, funny story. But it's also good to get your perspective on coming to the Basque Country, being Canadian, and your journey. And we really appreciated having you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me as well.
Thanks
My
for
my first podcast. You deflowered me.
It's a lot of people's firsts, honestly.
Yeah,
Well, you'll have to come back on for
I was
for a second
shirtless
story.
before I said I gotta wear clothes. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't realize
You
we were
don't
gonna be-
have to if you don't want to. You could be
Well,
shirtless. next time.
Aaron asked me, please wear something. So
something. Just put on something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I
Doesn't
put a
matter
top
Well,
what.
on.
thanks
everything else.
so much, Pablo, and we'll see you
Thanks for
next
having me.
time.
Okay,
Hopefully
Yeah.
see you again.
thanks,
Okay.
Pablo.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Lexi.
Bye.
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 Take care.
Well, that's a wrap, everyone. It was so great to see Pablo. Aaron, I had a blast.
So much
And
fun.
So
Pablo's
much
awesome,
fun.
right?
It's always fun, and we'd love to hear from everyone else. If you have a story, you can write to us. You can write into podcast.foreignish@gmail.com. That's podcast.foreignish, foreignish@gmail.com. Please write us a story, and we'd love to have you on if you'd like to be a guest speaker. Tell us a story about living abroad, being a foreigner abroad, all your juicy stories. Yes, and don't forget, click save and subscribe at the bottom of your screen, and see you next time.
See you next time.
All right.
Bye, Lexi.